Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, if you normally join me here on Wednesdays, you know that I'm actually doing today's live an hour late. That is because I didn't realize when I set this one up, it was actually already accounting for Central Time and not Eastern Time that I normally schedule it. So I'm on an hour later. I will say that my internet has been kind of funky like half of the day today. And so I'm ready for a hotspot if I need it. Definitely let me know if you can hear me. The delay is not as bad as it's been today, but it was like pretty bad delay today. And as well, I am in Alabama and we are under some severe storms and whatnot. So if the little man on my weather radio starts talking to me saying take cover, I may not stop the live before I go take cover. Hey, it is what it is. I'm in Alabama. We have to hide from tornadoes to get to our safe place in tornadoes, right? So do let me know if you can hear me. So welcome to all my LinkedIn guests today, and as well, welcome to my Facebook guests, and also welcome to my YouTube guests. And wherever you are today, let me know where you're hopping on from and give me a one if you can hear me. And for those of you who always catch me on the replay, thank you as well. And you too can drop a comment in there and let me know where you caught the replay from, right? And so today I am talking about avoiding job search burnout. It actually happens. Oh, yes, it does. I have been there a number of times myself. So let me say, if you don't know me, I'm Twanna Carter. I'm Dr. Twanna Carter, and I am a career transition coach for high achieving professional women. And I help them overcome the fear and anxiety that can come with transitioning into a new career, be it a promotion, a 180-degree turnaround, because as you know, this is a great reshuffle and people are shuffling their jobs all over the place. And I do that by empowering them to recognize and communicate their unique value and by instilling a deep sense of belief in their own strengths and abilities so that they can confidently and courageously create success on their own terms and nail the job that is absolutely perfect for them. There are no perfect jobs, but there are jobs that are perfect for us, right? Depending on who we are. And so I just want to take a look see out there. Let me hop over to Facebook and be sure I am streaming live from Facebook. And yeah, my live streams are really lagging behind. Oh my gosh. And I have restarted the Mac several times today. I think it's more of an internet problem than it is a computer problem today. So we shall soldier on. All right. So again, I wanted to talk about today how to avoid job search burnout because it does happen. Now, most of you probably know that burnout is when you feel exhausted from your job. You may become cynical or you just feel unfulfilled by your job. And this is common for folks who feel they don't have control. They don't have any control over the expectations being placed upon them or how their job is going to go or even what they're going to get every day at the job. And sometimes you get the same thing over and over and you just become really cynical and burn out, right? And that's what burnout is, but it's also possible to burn out when you're looking for a job, right? Especially if you've been, at it for a while and not finding anything yet, right? And so again, you know, burnout happens when we feel we don't have control. And so obviously when we're out there applying for jobs and we're networking and you do network, right? You're applying for those jobs and hopefully you're not just hitting job boards, you're actually networking and then applying for the job. You're doing those informational interviews, but all of that can feel very much out of your control, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not sitting on that board or on that panel, with the people who are making decisions who gets hired. I've been on job panels before. I've been on with 4, 5, 6 people. And, after each candidate, we all have to rate. We rate individually, then we see what we got, and then we put that to the side and we go on to the next candidate. And you really don't have a lot of control over that. What you do have control over is being the best prepared, making sure your resume is on point, but it just feels like you're not in control. And that is what gets people to the burnout phase. Okay. Anybody out there, or if you feel like you're just burned out with the job search right now and you've just taken hiatus, yeah, drop a two in the comments and let me know. Definitely drop a two. I know I have been there. And the thing is, with job search, you're not just, even though it seems like you are, you're not just in it by yourself. I remember, I had gotten out of the military, I taught school in Florida. Then I moved to Alabama, and I did temp jobs. I needed that bridge job. I had to have some money coming in, right? And so I was doing a temp job, got a call to go to another temp job. And I was like, no, I'm here. I'm not gonna like leave them hanging and just go get another job, another temp job. I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here. Turn the job down. And then 2 days later on a Friday, I tootled my way on home, walked in the door. My dad was like, did your job talk to you today? I was like, well, no. He said, yeah, they called and said you're not to come back anymore. And it was like, oh shoot, I'm a single parent with 3 kids. Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. What happened? So my dad was really upset because they waited until I left the job and they knew I was on the road. Then they called and said, oh, by the way, don't show up on Monday. And so that left me without a job. And I can remember frantically going through, turning in applications and doing all the searches that happened with that because I needed a job. And I also remember when that process kept going and going, and I was dropping my daughter off at daycare. And I just remember her, looking at all the other parents drop their kids off and go. And she just turned around and she looked at me and said, everybody else's mommy has a job except for my mommy. And you talk about sucker punch. Oh my gosh. And so, yes, it's not just us that gets frustrated, or, it's not just us touched when we're frustrated or we hit job search burnout. Our families feel it too. Our kids did too. My oldest was kind of, she was like that. When I got jobs, I would have to take her to the job and say, hey, here's where mommy is now working, to soothe her mind that her mommy had a job like all the other mummies did. But that process was, whoo, it was tough. It was really, really tough. So I can understand how difficult job search burnout is. Because again, although it seems like you are in it by yourself, your family oftentimes is in it right along with you, right? And so really your job search it's a full-time job, but it can really be tough to give it all the time, effort, and energy that it needs because of competing parties, right? Because you have these other things going on. You're supporting a family, or you got a whole job you're already working while you're trying to find another job. You may be caretaking of kids with special needs. You may have adult kids with special needs that you're taking care of. You may be a caregiver to mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, grandparents, mother in laws, father in laws, all those things. And all those just responsibilities can really make you get burned out, feel burned out and stressed just with that. And now you're putting like searching for a job, getting a new job on top of that. And so if you've been applying for jobs for a while with no luck, it is very simple, very easy to get burned out. But I'm going to share with you some ways to avoid job search burnout so that you can keep your motivation up, because it's a job, it's a challenge, right? Now, the longer your job search goes on, the harder it gets to maintain your motivation, even though there is evidence to say that the longer you look, the more likely you are to find a job. It's just that, some of us were in the popcorn generation and I want it now. Some of you are just like, I need the job because I want out of where I am now. Where I am now is so toxic. And I'm really trying to not walk out the door from a job and have no job. I'm really trying to go from job to job, right? And then some of you just really need the money, whether you just need a pay raise where you are, or maybe you're not even working. Maybe you're not even having any income, or your unemployment is about to run out. So you really need a job now because you need that money. And so while you cannot control everything about the job market or even the hiring process for each particular position that you apply for, there are some things that you can do to keep yourself moving forward as you look for a job, right? So the first thing to understand is that know that it's normal. It is normal. It is normal. So when you're applying for a job and people, either you're not even getting any hits. You're applying for all the job, no hits at all, or you're getting a hit on the resume but never getting called back for an interview, or you're getting, the interview but not chosen for the job. It is normal to go through that, and it's also normal for rejection to hurt, right? So I wrote an article about rejection. Why does it hurt so much? It hurts so much because rejection travels the same path in the brain as pain, right? And so I'm a highly sensitive person. I like to think I've gotten better than I was a little younger, but some for those of us who are highly sensitive, rejection can feel just like physical pain because they travel pretty much the same route. And so if you want to read that article, I wrote an article for Phoenix Fitness Fanatics called Why Does Rejection Hurt So Much? I'll drop the link at the end. So be sure you stay to the end so you can really read that article and understand why rejection hurts. It's normal for it to hurt. Some of us get hurt by rejection, a little less than others, some a little more. I'm in the little more pile, right? It does. It's painful, right? But it's actually a normal human reaction. So don't feel like there's just something wrong with me because it is painful. And that's why we sometimes tend to move to the burnout phase because we're tired of that rejection and it hurt and we want it to stop. But we want it to stop with a new job, not because we just give up, right? So again, recognize that this is a normal, that rejection is a normal part of the job process. If you've been applying for jobs and getting interviews but no callbacks or offers, it's easy to really feel that confidence start to wobble a little bit and start feeling like there may be something wrong with you. So look at it this way, right? I like to tell my clients that, job transition, job search, career transition, it is actually a marathon and not a sprint, right? And so you know that with the marathon, there are some people that run that 26 miles in about 2 hours and 1 minute. And we know there's some folks who are running that marathon 4 hours, some 5 hours, some six, some seven, some nine, some 10. The thing is you all finish it. So you'll get a job. But there's nothing wrong if you're the marathoner that finished in 9 miles versus the 2 hours. I'm sorry, you finished the marathon in 9 hours versus the 2 hours. You will both get a job. Just that some people will get it quicker and some of us it will take a little longer, but that's okay. It is okay. It's really important to avoid that there just has to be something wrong with me. Because no, whether you finish that marathon in 9 hours or you finish it in three, you still got the job. You still completed the marathon, right? And really what happens is a longer we're in this process, it can lead to self-doubt. And like I said, your confidence can start wobbling and start dropping, and then it hits that self-esteem. And when we get to that space, it makes the job search more difficult. A couple of things. When you walk into an interview, guess what kind of energy you're dragging in? I don't know why I'm doing this. Probably just another rejection. Well, people are going to pick up on that energy, right? It's also possible that, you're having interviews and some of those people are just more experienced and more qualified than you are, and they're hired instead. Again, it leads to feelings of not being good enough. But remember the marathon, whether you finish in 9 hours or you finish in two, you still get the job if you hang in there. You still finish the race. You just got to hang in there, right? And then it's also important that, when we need to recognize that finding a job is not about accepting an offer for a perfect position at the perfect company, right? Because I said at the beginning, there are no perfect jobs. There are jobs that are perfect for us, but the jobs are not perfect. Of course, we are not either. So instead of really looking at making the best decision, rather than saying I need a perfect job at the ideal company, think about making what is the best decision for you and your career in the moment, right? Because you heard me saying, when I got let go, I had to find a bridge job. I didn't find the job that I planned on keeping, but I had a bridge job. So I was making this, make a decision for me and my family at the moment. You need some money coming in. Okay. Anybody out there take bridge jobs? Drop bridge in the comments. If you've taken a bridge job before, done it, have done it, sure have. And it is what was best for me in the moment while I continue to look for something else. It's very important for you to take care of yourself throughout the job search process. So I'm going to show you some tips for avoiding job search burnout. Number one, do find your support network. So when I say support network, an example of what you're not looking for is You ain't got no job yet. What's taking you so long? What is your malfunction? Psh, I don't know what's taking you so long. I got my job in like 2 months. Why is taking you 5? Not a support network. Not. They may be nice people somewhere deep down inside, but they're not the person you're looking for in your support network. You have to build a support network of family and friends who believe in you and will keep you motivated, right? Even if you need to take some time off and recharge, it is perfectly fine to take a break. Take that 2 week break. Take a 3 week break if that's what's needed, right? You can take a weekend off, you can take 2 days off a week, whatever you do. Also be sure you're stepping away from social media because you're looking on there. For some reason, when you're looking for a job, everybody else got a job and talk about how wonderful it is. So sometimes you want to take that break from social media as well, right? It's because again, it's not just you that feels a frustration, but your family can too. So you want to manage your anxiety and manage your stress because your family will pick up your energy, especially your kids. As I can tell you, my daughter, I didn't realize she was paying that much attention to what was going on, but I guess she heard me talking with my parents, going over and I've been here and I've done this and they didn't hire me, da 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 da. And that really affected her. It bothered her that everybody else's mommy had a job, but her mommy didn't. And so you want to manage your own frustration and anxiety as well. The second thing to do, because number one was build a support network, right? And stay away from the naysayers. You don't want that. But number two is really stay active. Whether you're looking for a job or not, exercise is really important part of taking care of yourself, body and your mind, because they're one. What affects your body affects your mind, and what affects your mind can actually show up in your body. Exercising does reduce stress. It will also improve your sleep because you want to be sure you're getting enough sleep so you can, have your brain work through some things, especially if you're getting a lot of rejection letters. Be sure you're getting that sleep, and also it's going to boost your mood. And then having a regular workout routine will help you stay motivated doing your job search. You have something to do to let out steam or to let out stress. And if you're doing it in a public place, talk to the people you're working with. Network, network, network. Always be networking. This is what I tell my clients. Always be networking. Okay. And also set some boundaries. Number three, set some boundaries. When you really want to get out of where you are you really needing that new paycheck, right? And I know how that is. I've been on that job search for 2 years. It's sometimes there's been a time or two. It took me 2 years of looking to find a job. So it is tempting to spend all day, every day, all night, right? Looking for a job, looking, filling out applications, sending resumes like bam, 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 bam. But that is what will lead to burnout. Make sure you set aside time for yourself, set aside time for friends, set aside time for your family, set aside time for your hobbies. Even if it's just a little bit each day, take that break. Set the boundaries around how much time you're spending and engaging and looking for a job, right? All those other activities, your family, your friends, provided they are supportive, they will really help you stay positive while you're doing the job search, right? So, number four, be flexible. The perfect job probably doesn't exist, at least not right now. It may be perfect for you, but it's not a perfect job. So, do try to keep an open mind about what you're looking for so you can consider all the opportunities that come your way. We can be pigeonholed and just see one thing. If I'm customer service and I've been in customer service and electronics, that's all I can do. We may not look at, well, I might be able to do customer service in the healthcare industry or customer service in the transportation, because sometimes we get that tunnel vision. So do try to keep an open mind, which will also help you avoid the burnout. Just be flexible. You'll be surprised at all the things out there that may be there, right? And so here's the other thing, you know, I do believe, they say that, insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. If you are actually submitting, like pinging, job boards, like ping, 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 you're hitting them, doing all, you're like up to 300 and you've never gotten the response back, there's something probably you need to check out your application. You need to check out that resume and be sure that you're hitting the right words and that you're not flooding your resume like 50 times, those keywords, but you want to have them in there for the right amount because employers are getting smarter. They're now programming their applicant tracking systems, the ATS. Like if there's an overabundance of the keywords, they're not going to pick it up. So you got to have the right amount, but you want to be sure that you got the keywords in there. You also want to be sure that you are selling your value. It's great to know what your responsibilities are on your current job or your past job, but how does that apply to the price of tea in China if you don't tell that employer, here is how it's valuable for you? Right? So when I coach my ladies, that's what I do. It's like, what are your skills? What are your talents? What are your transferable skills? But tell me how it's valuable for the employee. And so if you're not getting any hits, you're like applying for 40, 50 jobs a week, and you have zero hits, check your resume out. Go back, check it out, give it to someone else to check out, get a resume review because there's something going on, right? Now, if you're the person that you get a few hits, it's like, oh, we got your resume, we're looking at it, but you don't hear anything else. Are you following up? Are you actually following up? If it got a hit and there's like, oh, yeah, we're going to consider this, and then it's like zero, crickets, chirp, chirp, chirp. Are you following up? You can follow up in writing, you can follow up via email, follow up via phone call, and follow up, write them a note, you know, be different, stand out. And if you're the person that your interview is getting the hits and you are doing you're doing the interviews and you're doing making it to round one, around two, around three, but you're never getting called back, tighten up on your interview skills, sell your value. Are you selling your value? It's great to talk about your responsibilities. They are so wonderful, but how are you selling that employer that here's what I can do for you, right? Being, again, I'm not going to say, yes, you need to stay the course because you want another job. But if you're doing the same thing and you're getting crickets or the same results, you're not getting anywhere, then go back and tweak the process. Tweak your process. There's totally nothing wrong with that, right? Because understand again, this is a marathon and not a sprint. Whether you get the job in 9 hours, finish the race in 9 hours, or two, you still get the job. You got to hang in there, right? And if you want to think about it, looking for a job is like, the woman that's like kind of picky and looking for a wedding dress, right? It can take months to look at dresses. Like some folks take months of looking at dress after dress. They go to multiple states. I remember trying to find my daughter a prom dress. She looked in Alabama, didn't find anything. I took her to Montgomery, Alabama. We looked in Birmingham, Alabama. We didn't find anything. I drove her down to Montgomery, Alabama. We didn't find anything. We tried on dress after dress. She didn't find anything she liked. I drove her to Atlanta, Georgia. Look, didn't find anything that she liked. And my daughter was like, I think a size 0 at the time. So it was difficult. So she got very upset about it. She started to just really lose motivation. I actually flew her all the way up to Maryland to look at dresses. So if you look at job search, like looking at those dresses, my daughter tried on the dresses and they didn't fit. She didn't like them. There was nothing wrong with the dress. It's just that it didn't fit. So when you're applying for jobs, there's nothing necessarily wrong with you. You didn't fit, right? There are 3 reasons why an employer will hire you. Number 1 is personality. Will your personality fit in with what we got? Number 2, there's a vacancy we need to fill. And number 3 are your skill sets, what you can do. But pretty much for most jobs, you can train anybody to the skill sets. But your personality, so therefore, it's so important for you to manage burnout because that frustration comes across in the interview. That hopelessness will come across in the interview and it affects your personality. So it's important to manage the burnout so you can keep that personality upbeat and motivated, right? Because while it may take a bride 6 months to find her dress, she said yes to the dress. It doesn't mean all the other dresses were wrong. They just didn't fit. So you may not fit a particular job, but it doesn't make you, in essence, wrong. So you got to remember that. Okay, so let me know. Drop a 4 in the comments if you found this helpful, right? Because it's so important to manage that job burnout, job search burnout. And in doing so, you need to manage that, that anxiety and the stress and whatnot. And I told you that I would share with you an article that I wrote for Phoenix Fitness Fanatics. And the title of the article is Why Does Rejection Hurt So Much? And it's because it does travel the same paths as pain does. And so some of us get job search burnout a little sooner than other folks because it's painful. Rejection after rejection, it gets painful. But you do have to manage that and understand that it's fairly normal. Okay, so do go and check that article out, why rejection hurts so much. I thank you for watching today. Again, I am on an hour later. I will do it right this time. I will schedule at the correct time. So I will see you next week, same bad time, same bad place. Take care.